The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here he is, Brandon.
Welcome back to the Brandon Peters Show and our continued adventures with the 1960s Batman series as it turns 60s, 60 this year. And we're in for another treat with another Riddler-centric story this week. And for that, I have from This Means Podcast, returning to the Brandon Peters Show, Jonathan Graves.
Hello, Brandon. Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to be back on the show talking about one of my favorite topics, 60s Batman.
Yeah. And you were, you know what's funny? You were the last guest in episode before the Summer of series took off, I think, possibly.
Okay.
Kind of crazy. But yeah, that's what I remember. We talked about Pearl Jam, and that video actually did quite well.
Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, we talked about What's Up, Doc, which is a fantastic movie, and then Pearl Jam
Highly
video.
recommend it.
But I remember because it felt like that was like the end of an era on this show, and then starting another one with the Summer of series that took off right after that. So it was kind of interesting where you last landed here at the show. But we're here. Before we get to Batman, let's talk about This Means Podcast, because it's been a while. This show has grown tremendously since you were first on, and if you want to fill in people with what the show is and what it's become in the recent years.
My show or your show?
Your show,
because I feel like your show has also grown.
always.
My show is a Looney Tunes centric show where I bring on a guest, somebody who either is a big animation aficionado or somebody who's actually worked with the characters, either writing, directing, producing, or voicing, because I have a lot of voice talent. And the next episode that goes up is going to be with Bob Bergen, the guy who took over for Mel Blanc for Porky Pig and Tweety Bird. And yeah, so it's, a lot of things are happening with it. It's growing. I'm very excited about what's to come. And I'm just enthusiastic about the characters in general. We have a big year this year with Coyote versus Acme finally getting a release. I was so bummed when that got shelved, and so elated when Catch Up Entertainment came along and
luckily not deleted.
And not deleted. Yes. Oh no, I would have snuck into Warner Brothers and found it and saved it personally.
Someone's got to have Batgirl on a hard drive somewhere at home. Like
I know they do. I know they do. Yeah, I want to see that too.
Scott Mendelson and I tried to get someone to. So we did a farewell to the DCU before Aquaman, the second Aquaman came out, and we kept pleading, like, if somebody knows, if somebody wants to send us, or I said if someone wants to FaceTime me on their phone while they play it, and I will watch it and promise I'm not screen recording.
Yeah,
but
luckily, Michael Keaton was originally in that movie.
He was in that, yeah. He was in it. Yeah. Brendan Fraser's in the movie as Firefly. And,
no, I meant Aquaman 2.
Oh, well, yeah, he was. Well, yeah, he was in both. He was in Aquaman 2 and Batgirl. Ben Affleck was in Aquaman 2 as well. He didn't make the cut either. So yeah, we were just
history, exciting.
Yes. So anyway, yeah, continue.
Yeah. So I started the podcast back in 2019, and relating to Batman. I have always been a stout offender, a stout person who went to bat for Looney Tunes all my life, and Batman. And whenever I see them together, it's just such a joy it brings me. Sends me right back to childhood. I was at Comic-Con and there was a poster for Bugs and Batman next to each other, and I was just like, what is happening? Like, is anyone else seeing this, or is it just in my imagination? So when I found out that I was living in an apartment with the niece of Michael Uslan, who brought the Batman to the big screen in 1989 and forever since, because he bought the rights and was like, no, this is a property that will sell. And because of the campiness of the Adam West show, a lot of studios didn't believe in it.
Hmm.
Even Warner Brothers passed on it originally. And it was Michael Uslan who pushed that forward. So I found out I was living with an Uslan in my apartment, and I was like, oh, now is the time that I should start talking about Bugs Bunny. And just bring those together. And then it worked out. And I've been running the social media for it. My wife has a little hand in it now that she has a little bit more free time, and she's integrating a bit more of the Netflix animated shows because of the whole Netflix Warner Brothers merger that is not completely official, but we're, on the brink of it. So we might as well take advantage and talk about
Hmm.
K-pop Demon Hunters where we can.
Yeah. And your wife is extremely good at social media as well. So that's like
Yes,
it's
thank
a
you.
bonus.
And
Yes.
yes, and she's been lovely making all kinds of reels and posts for me, which has been nice. So if you want all your Looney Tunes news in your hand, check out This Means Podcast on Instagram and soon on Substack, where we'll be writing up our episodes in new and fun ways.
One of my most memorable Looney Tunes meets Batman, specifically Batman '89, is I have the VHS tape that I knew up and down. I always talk about the Alfred Diet Coke
Yes,
commercial before, but after that is Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck talking about the Warner Brothers studio store and ordering merchandise off of it. So that's always Looney Tunes was with Batman right there. Um,
exactly. You can't watch a Warner Brothers movie without a Warner Brothers ball cap.
yep, gotta have it on.
That's how it goes. You can buy ties and shirts and, memorabilia of all kinds at the Warner Brothers store. Sadly, we no longer have a Warner Brothers store unless you're in Burbank, and you can go to the Studio Tour
Hmm.
store, which I frequent and try to go once a month, and then I update what's new on the shelves. And currently, there's a lot of collaborations out there with Looney Tunes, thankfully. So I have a lot to be posting about. Most notably is the Winter Olympics. They've actually teamed up with the Winter Olympics merchandise, and
Okay.
Warner and the Looney Tunes are all over the merchandise, and I think it's really cool for Team USA. So check that out.
All right. Very cool. So let's move on to the '60s Batman. We all
Yes,
have our
please.
histories with it, but I'm interested in yours. Like, when did you first start watching it, and some of your favorite things about it?
At the exact same time I was watching Looney Tunes on cable on so ABC had the Saturday morning block of Looney Tunes with the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show that started in the late 80s, and I was thankfully born in the late 80s, and so it hit me, and I was able to roll up out of bed, watch cartoons, and then go over to my grandmother's house and on TNT watch reruns of Batman 60s TV show, and I loved every minute of it. So Adam West was actually my first Batman, even though I loved and adored, and I ran the VHS like crazy for Tim Burton's Batman. Adam West was there first,
Yeah. Same for
and
me too. Yeah.
and I was on the edge of my seat every time. Same bat time, same bat channel. You got to tune in to see what happens with Batman, and he's tied up to some kind of mechanism that's gonna put him in grave danger, but he's gonna get out of it. But as a kid, I didn't know. I had no idea how they were gonna get him out of there, and I also took the riddles to be super serious.
Well,
Which as
yeah.
an adult, they're super corny. But as a kid, they're like, oh, that must be the answer. I need to learn history and I need to learn geographics and like figure out how all of this comes together. But no, like all of the answers are super absurd, and you would not be able to figure them out on your own. Or like any logical person couldn't come up with the answer. Like it's only Batman writers
Right. Well,
in the 60s.
Scott Meadows and I have come up. We talked about the rite of passage to watching '60s Batman is you watch it when you're a kid and you take it seriously. And it's these, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, cliffhangers, everything else. Then you're a little older and you go back and you're like, oh man, that was cheesy. What was I thinking? And oh, that was silly. Then you get older and you're like, oh my gosh, this is clever. It's written funny. Oh, it's supposed to be a comedy. It's supposed to. Oh, duh. And you're like, wow, it's brilliant again. That's kind of the path that one takes with the '60s Batman.
I
Um,
will say though, there is one riddle, and I'm really glad I'm on this episode. There's one riddle in these two episodes that has stuck with me my entire life.
oh wow, okay.
That is not the riddle from the movie, which is what's the most dangerous bird in the woods, and it's a pigeon with a shotgun. It's not that joke. Even though that one has stuck with me as well. But there's one from this episode. We're gonna get to it. It's in the
Yeah.
second part. But I'm so glad I'm here to talk about it. But I also, if I may indulge the audience, there are some Looney Tune connections
Yes.
with these two episodes as well. So I was excited to be on a Riddler episode. First of all, Riddler is my favorite Batman villain. He is just insanely well portrayed by Frank Gorshin. And Frank Gorshin voiced Foghorn Leghorn in the later in life Chuck Jones cartoons from the late 90s when he came back to Warner Brothers and started doing Looney Tunes again. So Frank Gorshin has voiced Looney Tunes after Mel Blanc passed, which is very cool. And there is a quote from the Riddler in the second part where he goes, "Genius, sheer genius," which is a direct quote from Wile E. Coyote, and I will not accept any other uh, validation of that line. Like it has to come from Looney Tunes. Like, and I know that they were all big fans of it. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I just think that was really fun. But yeah, Frank Gorshin is a legitimate Looney Tunes actor, and I'm excited to talk about his performance in this series, but specifically these two episodes. I feel like it's on the verge of Shakespearean, the
Yeah.
way that he has these soliloquies that he goes off about. And you know, he brings up how he has been able to finally do away with the dynamic duo. And that's something that the Penguin and the Joker have not been able to do, even though they're at the top of their game. It's just
Yes.
really great dialogue, and it's performed in a way that I feel like would work on a stage. It would work as, like, you know, Shakespeare in the Park. And he's doing it as, you know, as dramatic as possible. So all that
Yeah.
to say, I'm a huge fan of the Riddler, and I'm so grateful you had me on for this show.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, our first one, the first part of this week is A Riddle a Day Keeps the Riddler Away.
How great a title is that?
Right. It's the first villain to return to the show. And we're on the sixth story. These are episodes 11 and 12, but yeah, Frank Gorshin returns as the Riddler, and yeah, this one is a bit spookier than he was the first one, because he's the villain in the pilot, and he's really crazy. But we have a different director, so it's getting shot differently, and I'll talk about it a little bit, but there's an aspect to him that's a bit more vile than it was silly from before or crazy. We have another guest, Susan Silo, who plays Mousy, the Riddler's girlfriend in this episode. He rebounded off the dead Jill St. John from the Molly from the pilot one, but she's currently is a prolific voice actor in video games and animation. But she has lots of fun stuff in like the late 80s. Really, she like voiced the Toxic Crusaders cartoon. She did some voices on.
Wow.
Notably for this podcast, she voiced a character in Once Upon a Forest, which was covered in the summer of '93 at 30, which also had Elizabeth Moss as a kid voicing a cartoon.
Oh, wow.
And at this time, she's just kind of a regular TV star in various shows throughout the years. Nothing really. This is probably the peak of like her guest starring. And we also have. We have a couple notable people here, actually. Reginald Denny, he plays King Boris. He was in Hitchcock's Rebecca. That's the second actor for Hitchcock's Rebecca that's been in Batman. Anna Karina Capelou. The last credit he has before death is playing a different character in Batman the movie. He's a long tenured film actor going back to the silent era. His first known credit is 1915. So
Wow.
pretty crazy. And then Roy Jensen, he plays Whitey. He played Mulvihill in Chinatown, one of the
Okay.
cops that annoys Jack
Jack Nicholson.
Nicholson. He also starred in Soylent Green and Clint Eastwood's The Gauntlet.
It's
And
people. They're
it's
eating people.
that's coming to 4K this year. Pretty excited about that. And
Ooh.
then he had a pretty successful run of guest starring on TV shows, high-profile TV shows in the 80s. So that runs our cast. It's directed by Tom Grease, who will direct the finale of this season of Batman. And he goes on to do the Helter Skelter miniseries in 1976, and then would die the following year.
Oh man.
His career was mostly television. Notable shows around this time that he was directing were Man from U.N.C.L.E., I Spy, and Mission Impossible. And then lastly, our writer, Fred DeGorder, or DeGorte, I don't know. He writes a story for next season, which is the villain's the Puzzler, but he wrote a Riddler story. They changed things to the Puzzler because they were having contract problems with Gorshin. And famously, when they do the Riddler in season 2, it's John Ashton, not Frank Gorshin, because they still could, because Gorshin was wanting his price raised up. So if Gorshin does not appear in season 2, there were supposed to be 2 Riddler stories. But he was the main. I mean, he was the main villain in this season. He appears a few more times, and he was in the movie. So he probably, rightfully, was like, "Hey, I'm, basically hanging around your sets and losing work because people think I'm too tied to Batman. Who knows?" And then the DeGorder, he only wrote, aside from Batman, only 6 other credits, or 6 credits total, and one of them was an episode of Daniel Boone. The other stuff I wasn't too familiar with. This one is the first episode that is not based on a comic that I was able to research and find. So
Okay.
the first 5 have been based off comic books. This is the first one not to be based off a comic, and I'm kind of not surprised. Well, if you tell me that, I can believe it, because there's some certain aspects in this that feels like, well, we did this last time with the Riddler, let's do this again. One of the things, like in the last one, he had his goons were the Mole Hill mob, and in this one, he employs the River Rats gang. So I feel like that's just kind of like, well, let's do that again. It's kind of feel like so. And the story. In this part of this, the Riddler is causing havoc with this guy that's in town. What's his name? I forgot to write down the guy's name, the character.
The royalty.
The royalty, yeah.
The king.
The king, yes. And there's a big hubbub about kidnapping him. Riddler ends up doing so in this process. But what do you think overall of the episode?
I thought it was fascinating, and it's so great that you mentioned the writer worked on Man from U.N.C.L.E. and Mission Impossible, because I got
That was
that
the
feel-
director. That was the director.
Oh, the director.
The director did. Yep.
I got the feel that this was more high suspense than previous episodes. Also, this took place mostly in the dark. There's a lot of night shoots with this, and that was also a rarity for this show, because they liked having the bright colors in the sun and it, popping for the kids. Whereas this one, it felt more grounded. It felt the tension was stronger. The plot was thicker, and the performances, I think, were better. And I don't know, like, I feel like the Street Rat Gang were a formidable, group of people, even though the villains always hire the slummiest of people. I feel like they had fun banter about them, which was, it didn't dull down the scenes where it was just the villains hanging out because Batman's dead. I thought, I thought they elevated the scenes that they were in. And then obviously you have them spring the traps, and that all goes well for them. And and the guest star that you mentioned, what was her name?
Oh, that plays Mousy.
Mousy?
It's Susan Silo.
Susan Silo, I feel like she was a standout here, because not many times does a Batman episode end and you're like, well, now I kind of want her to carry on and have a socialite romance or a subplot with Bruce Wayne and like come back and like she's reformed, kind of thing. But for her to have so much to talk about while being a villain, I felt like it was very Harley Quinn-esque,
Mhm.
long before Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And she goes through this like, I don't know, like a character arc of I'm on the bad guys, but he's cute. And then at the very end, it's like, I was never really against you. So I just thought that was really fun and creative to explore that with one of the henchmen, or henchwomen, if you will. But yeah, no, so like it, starts as every other Batman starts, and Bruce and Dick get the call, and there's a crazy riddle of what's the uh how is a piece of wood like a person?
Yeah, so I have the riddles all
Yeah,
down
what
here. We go
great.
through them because I like
Yes.
to put the clues or jokes or riddles. I will mention before we get into that, you're talking about the groundedness. This is the most dark of the three so
Hmm.
far in terms of production and stuff like that. But like starting with the Mr. Freeze episode, and going then to Zelda and this one, it has been a more grounded show. It
Hmm.
feels like it's really strange, because it's been like, and my guest last week noted it, and then Scott noted it with Mr. Freeze. Like, yeah, this is not, this is what I expect from Batman 66, but this is a more grounded approach to it. So they have a run going here where things feel a bit more down to earth and less, um, going for the campy stuff. So maybe the returns aren't in yet to know what people are responding to, and they're not playing into them yet from the writers' room and production team. But yeah, this has felt a bit more grounded. And it's really dark. And I will say the Riddler's, like I say, he's kind of spookier in this one because we don't see him for a long time. He's in the shadow. They're talking about him, but he's just, where's he going to pop up? Where's he going to pop up? And when he does pop up at that stage, at that pageant,
Hmm.
it's a very voyeuristic way they show him, because
Hmm.
they show him from Batman's perspective backstage, and it's real quiet. And then one of it looks like, from like an audience perspective, and Gorshin doesn't say a line or anything. He just comes out,
He kisses the woman.
kisses the woman, and
Yeah.
steals the thing, and like that's it, the crown, and
And
that's
then he
it.
pops up from a manhole cover.
Manhole in the dark in the alley, and it's like really creepy. And then when you see him, there's like some really close ups with shadowy face, and yeah, it's
The lighting
really
is on
interesting.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and for two stories now that Riddler said, he hangs out underground. That's the Riddler's thing, I guess. That's what he
Well, they
does.
got to hang out somewhere
Right.
away
Uh,
from Batman.
yes. So we have riddles, and the first one is, when is a person like a piece of wood? When he's a ruler, which Robin gets on the basics, and then Batman extends it onto what that means for that particular case. So
Now, in
kind
my
of
head, I
solving.
go when he's stiff, like when he's
Yeah.
dead, and like
Yeah.
that's the instant answer that came to my
Mm-hmm.
mind. And when Robin starts talking to answer it, he goes, "Oh, that's really simple." And I was like, "Okay, so he's going to say a dead guy."
Yeah.
And then he says a ruler, and I was like, "That is not simple."
No, because but someone Batman could have been like, but couldn't a ruler be made of plastic?
Not in the 60s.
Not in the 60s. Not in the 60s. But then Batman takes it a whole nother degree to like, okay, that's the answer, but what does it mean to us? And then they walk their way 8 more steps to get, to get to where it is, which is hilarious to watch. Um, that was it. And then the next one is,
Bat
what
logic.
what room can no one enter? And then Robin says, a mushroom, which gets extended out to the Royal Mushroom Club, which gets that's figured out by Batman. Because in the previous one, in the pilot, Robin answers like 90% of the riddles. Like it's all Robin, 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 and then like one of them Robin solves, but off screen, Batman corrected it and found to the right place. So
Uh,
that's what the one
I'm
exception,
glad they're giving Batman, some more intelligence here.
right? There's that
Okay, so
one.
the mushroom
Yeah,
answer I actually like.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's a clever one. Because that one you can actually come up with.
yeah. Yes, makes not sense. And then the next one, which doesn't get answered ever, I don't think, it just gets hung up, is what is the beginning of eternity, the end of time, the beginning, the end of, okay, what is the beginning of eternity, the end of time and space, the beginning of every end of every race? And that never gets answered. I don't think. Did it get answered?
I don't think it does. I think it's brushed off. They bring it back up.
Some of them hang over to the next episode, but yeah.
Right. That one does hang over to the next episode, but I don't think that they ever do answer it.
Yeah. So unsolved riddle. And the next one is how much dirt is in a whole 3-acre square and 200 feet deep? And Robin says none because it's a hole.
Sound logic.
That was
Sound
it.
logic, Robin.
We have what won't run long without winding? And Robin answers a river. Yep.
Also
And-
solid.
And then this one gets carried over to the next episode. Why is a woman in love like a welder? I think that one gets carried over, but yeah. So those are
Is
our
that
riddles.
one carried over, or is that just in the
maybe
second?
maybe it doesn't get answered.
No, that one does get answered. I know the answer.
Oh, what was the answer?
Because they're carrying a torch.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes, it does. I think it gets answered in this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Bad note rating. Yeah, so those are our riddles. It's a lot of riddles. It's like, wow, okay, they really go to town. And these episodes are 24 minutes long.
Oh yeah.
And there's so many
I
riddles.
mean, he's the Riddler. You gotta
Yeah.
throw in a good riddle.
Gotta do it.
I remember the complaint. This is a tangent, but Batman Forever, the guy who came up with the riddles, he was very upset that Val Kilmer's Batman was able to solve them so quickly in the movie because it took him, a long time to come up with these really clever riddles. So the fact that there are so many riddles in this and one of them doesn't get answered, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I wish there were actually more.
Screw that,
things
we're
like
moving
that.
on. We'll figure, it won't matter. We'll run into him at some point. Don't worry.
Yeah.
If you want to ask him, ask.
Oh,
Ask him, I said-
and did you include the one Batman gives to the Riddler? Because it ends with a riddle, and Riddler is beside himself that he's been out-riddled.
What was it? What was that one?
I don't have it written
Oh,
down.
okay. Did not get that. So the celebrity window cameo. We do not have a window cameo yet on this show, but we do have some climbing, and they stop and chat for a bit. So that's the second time they've stopped and chat while climbing the window or climbing up a building. The gadgets used in this episode are the bat phone, the bat poles, the bat cave, the Batmobile, the homing receiver scope, Gotham City plans and views, the Batarang, and the bat rope. And then
A lot of gadgets.
a lot of gadgets. Fight the onomatopoeia. Fight words for the episode. We have no fight. So this is actually 3 episodes in a row with no fight because the Zelda story, that 2-parter is one of the 2 in the entire run that have no fight in them. So in it. So this one is an episode. Now there's been
Are you talking about the first half?
the first half. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just on the first half right now.
Okay.
So yeah, so there's no fight in the first half. The Robinisms in this one are too bad we didn't get a chance to paste the Riddler and Holy Sewer Pipe. And yeah, my notes on this one. Additional notes. I loved Alfred wiping down the bat poles. That was a nice little touch. Bruce and Dick once again have fishing. Tell Aunt Harriet they're going fishing as an excuse to go be Batman and Robin. And then, yeah, just overall darker tone to this one. Very, very darker. So the our cliffhanger here is the Riddler has Batman and Robin spinning really fast. And they're tied up, blindfolded, and they're on these fan things. They're going to go real fast. And it says, if you care for Batman and Robin, keep home till tomorrow. If you care for Batman and Robin, keep hoping till tomorrow night, same time, same bat channel. So they did half of that, and it is all in text. And I will say, I do. This was actually the first Riddler story I ever saw, or I remember seeing when I was a kid. Because when the '89 Batman came out, the Family Channel started airing them, and they would show it at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and then show it again at like 11 o'clock at night. And I would always tape the 11 o'clock at night one. And I remember this one aired during that time. It was the first one I ever saw with the Riddler, and because they aired them out of order, because who cares, right? Back then. So this was the first Riddler one I saw, and I was like, whoa, this guy's evil, man. So I really liked the Riddler from the series. But Frank Gorshin made the Riddler what he is today. Like, he was not
absolutely
an A-list comic book like he did for, like what Robert Downey Jr. did for Iron Man for the Riddler, like, basically. And he'll always, he's my favorite Riddler. And then I really like the John Glover Riddler in the animated series. He was only in 2 of them, I think, before they moved it to the Batman family show. But do you have any more things before we move to the second episode?
No. We can just dive in.
So, when the rat's away, the mice will play. It's our second part. Still Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, same guest stars, same director and writer. Our cliffhanger resolved. So the controls just sort of short and stop spinning, and it's apparently because Batman was able to use the cutting torch to short the power.
I was a little confused by that. I mean, I know that the torch did something, but it was a little bit ambiguous as to what he was doing with it.
Yeah, and it said something about before he put us on here, I was able to slide and get my torch open, and they got out. That's all that matters on the show. They got out. So in this one, Batman and Robin like escape, but they're like, "Hey, let's," they convince Commissioner Gordon, like, "Hey, just act like we're dead and see what the Riddler does." And the Riddler stops riddling. They have one more heist they think they could do, and then get out of town. And there's a fun scene where Bruce Wayne is meeting with Commissioner Gordon, and Batman shows up in Commissioner Gordon's office through the window, and it's one of the River Rats guys dressed up like Batman. And it's just it plays really funny, and then I love that Commissioner Gordon calls Batman. He's like, "Hey, were you in my office today?" He's like, "No." He's like, okay, I didn't think so.
All of that was brilliantly written.
Yes.
Because you had the guy pretending to be Batman, but he's playing the henchman being Batman.
Yes.
And that was convincing as an audience member. And if you just walked in and you didn't know the plot of what was happening, you'd be like, "Oh, that's the bad guy pretending to be Batman," which is great. Because like you want that shorthand. And then Bruce Wayne is in the room. And so you get a Batman meeting Bruce Wayne scene, which I don't think has happened in the series up until this point.
No, you've had Robin and Bruce Wayne together. That was in the previous one, but you haven't had Batman and Bruce Wayne in the same spot.
Yeah, so that's really cool because they found a way to write it into the script that Batman meets Bruce Wayne, which I always am a fan of. And it is in front of Commissioner Gordon, but Commissioner Gordon doesn't necessarily know at that point that it's not Batman.
Yeah.
So like in universe, he's actually witnessing Bruce Wayne meet Batman. So he's in his mind, he's crossing off Bruce Wayne as a potential Batman, right? Until he calls Batman. And then he's like, "Okay, well, my suspicions are confirmed." But that also leads you to believe that he's never really going to go back and be like, Bruce Wayne could be Batman.
Right.
Because I feel like once you see Batman and Bruce Wayne, it'd be like somebody walking in with a costume on, and then you're like, "Oh, I know who that is." And then that person walking in, and it's not the person under the costume. Even though, like, maybe it's like, revealed later that it was that person, you're never going to go back to it. Like, it's done.
Do you think Bruce Wayne's sitting there like, "Damn, how did Riddler get a pitch perfect Batman suit?"
I also thought that, but
But Mr. Freeze had him too, because Mr. Freeze had a thing where they had 5 Batman because there was Batman so in the Mr. Freeze episode, Mr. Freeze had 5 goons dressed as Batman and 5 goons dressed as Mr. Freeze to
There's a
cause
bunch of Batman
commotion.
costumes out there.
You just go to the store, like,
yeah, they're they're just hanging on the rack.
like they're just like, you know what? I might as well make a couple bucks while I'm being Batman. Sell that merch.
My favorite part of the scene, though, is Bruce Wayne not being shocked that there's a Batman there. Because he immediately plays along, and he plays along to where he's going to go along with whatever the goon is saying, to where Commissioner Gordon will then like buy into it. And then, on the other end of the phone call. So Commissioner Gordon waits till Bruce Wayne gets home and puts the Batman costume on to call him.
Right. He does.
As well.
And what's funny is like, Commissioner Gordon's like, oh, that poor Bruce Wayne thought he met Batman today.
And then the other great part is he walks in the Batcave and Robin is like working on the slide. And he's like, I think something is weird with the slide. It might be dangerous. And he's like, how did your meeting go? And he's like, I met Batman. And then Robin's like, oh, okay. Wait, what?
Well, it's like they shot that, put Robin in the back, just be like, we need a different, like, something we haven't done yet. Why don't you go, Burt Ward, why don't you go just stand up there? Yeah, we haven't had that sort of thing happen yet with you guys. So
just right next to the asbestos, like just under it.
Oh yeah, oh gosh, it's so funny. Oh, but it's clever stuff. It's like well written, fun things. But yeah, eventually, they pop up and outsmart the Riddler. And Riddler's
with a riddle. So I have the riddle. I have the riddle.
All right. Well, so we'll go through the riddles.
Oh, okay.
And we have the carryover, which they solve later, which is why is a woman in love with a welder? Because they both carry a torch. Batman figures it out. Robin figures out how it figures into what's going on. So a little switcheroo. So the other one, we have what is it that is always coming out but never arrives?
That's the riddle that I love.
I'm a man of few words, but a man of many riddles. So riddle me this. What is it that is always coming but never arrives? Quickly.
We ain't tuned in on the riddle bit, Chief.
Yeah! We give up. What is it that is always coming but never arrives?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. But when it arrives, it is today. And today, my dear rodents, should prove to be most memorable.
That's the one.
And that's
okay.
the one that stuck with me. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not the bus at Disney World to go to Epcot. But I feel like every time I go to the Disney World, there's always this bus that's like, oh, it's coming. And I never see it. I just always grab a different one. But no, the answer is tomorrow. Because when it arrives, it's today, which is what Riddler says. And I think that's really clever. I think
it
it's
is
really
good.
Clever. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Need shirts. We need shirts with that on it.
We do.
So there's a note left by Batman that the Riddler reads. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Do you have that one?
Yes, I have it.
Oh, okay. You got
so
it.
you can read it if you looked. You spent time. You looked. I already had it in my notes, but
oh, okay.
Go ahead.
What squeals louder than a caught rat? Several caught rats.
Yeah,
which is great. It's great.
I've been out riddled. It's so good. And this one's very heavy Frank Gorshin episode because the last one he took forever to come in. He really wasn't in a lot, and then it was almost as if they knew this one was going to be backstacked with a lot of Riddler scenes. There's a lot more Frank Gorshin here than there is
he's
Batman
hamming it up
stuff.
big time. Yep. And because Batman and Robin are no longer in the crime scene where he's plotting and all that stuff, because now he's like fixated on the fact that he's actually done it. He's actually gotten rid of Batman. I just think that, the way that they wrote that into the script and the way that it's performed just elevates his performance, and it elevates the episode. Mm-hmm. And I think the fact that he isn't that much in the first part of this, it truncates it, but it also makes you excited when you see him in the second part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he does both. He does the Riddler costume, and he does the bowler hat suit version, which is a creation of this show.
It's my favorite
that
costume.
It's so good. It's such a good costume. Love seeing cosplayers do it. In
I did it
various
once.
degrees. Did you?
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
I did it in like 2010. I had my little notebook writing riddles.
Writing riddles. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Do you have pictures of that? We could pop it in.
Oh man, I don't actually.
Oh, boo.
Long story
right.
short, my Facebook was hacked. I lost all my photos.
Oh, all right. That's why I pop I always, every so many months, I pop my phone in, put them on a hard drive somewhere in case stuff like that happens. But yeah,
good.
Crazy stuff. All right. So we don't have any climbing or a celebrity window cameo. Our gadgets used are the cutting torch, the bat phone, the bat cave, and the Batmobile. Very low gadget episode. And then we have a fight. We do have a fight with the rat guys, everything like that. Our fight words are pow, whack,
Crunch?
zlop, boff, zap, and crunch with the K. So,
yeah, crunch with a K. That
so
one stood out to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, not the first time used. So now, for our season tally here for the fight words, pow remains in first place with 5. That's followed by bam, oof with 4 O's, zlonk, crunch with a K, all have 3, and then kapow, wham, biff, thwap, crunch with a C, and zap are all at 2. And then there's a remaining bunch that have all 1 that include eow, crack, zam, sock, and many others. I'm not going to go through all of them, but that's where our season tally is with all the fighting onomatopoeia words with it. We also got, I think the episode before, there was, in the Zelda one, they didn't have a fight, but a guard got knocked out, and they had this little graphic of like getting knocked out, and that was reused in, I think, episode 1, the first episode of this. So pretty interesting. Reused the graphic. The Robinisms here are holy conflagration, and that's the only way we could smoke you out, and now we're going to deactivate you. So not a lot of holy going on in this, the whole story. So it went from, there was a couple episodes in the beginning of just holy, 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 and they've toned down Robin here.
Well, there was a riddle that it talked about a hole, so
yes.
maybe they reached their whole quota.
That's true. I wonder if that's going to be a thing that's like a writer thing, that maybe what Lorenzo Semple Jr. does, because I think his episodes have been full of that, and then the other writers that have touched us have not been like that. Some of my notes here. There's a sign in the background of Riddler's hideout that said "Help keep this place clean." That I thought was fucking hilarious. Like, yes, this is the kind of comedy I love. Just like, there's some other signs, but I couldn't make out certain words on them, so I was like, bummer. Riddler mentions Penguin, Joker, and Mr. Freeze, calling them colleagues in this one.
Yeah, so that's whenever he's doing that monologue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a Museum of Fame, and it has a painting of Batman and Robin that's in this episode.
That's correct.
And then after the fight, Robin gives Batman an okay with like a real happy, like, all right. It's like, wow. And then we found out that Mousy is a high school dropout. So, poor girl going to juvie. But hopefully she could be revitalized and put back into society as Batman would like. So
yeah, Batman asked her why she got involved, and she goes, kicks, I guess. So she's doing it for the kicks.
What's Riddler? What are you doing dating high school girls, man? I don't know. I don't think there's a confirmation they're in a relationship, but just like, okay, well, it was the 60s. That type of thing, but yeah. You have any more on the second episode?
Oh, again, it's grim, it's darker. They're underground a lot, and that allows for creativity with lighting, creativity with the performances, but the aesthetic. And I just really love this part. Like, I love the second part, and I love the way that it congeals with the first part. And the sinister nature of the Riddler, and um, the realization that Batman and Robin are not dead, that Frank Gorshin plays here, I feel is pitch perfect.
Yes.
And I just, I feel the character growth, and I feel the need to one up him. And I also like the fact that the Riddler doesn't usually fight. It's usually his goons that fight.
Yeah, he pushes guys into like go
Yeah.
on, go. Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't fight. Even the Penguin fought a bit in the one we had so far. But
Yeah, and the
very
Joker
interesting.
fights, I think, more than
Oh yeah,
Riddler.
Joker fights. Yeah,
Yeah, he gets in
gets
there.
down. He gets down. Mr. Freeze didn't fight, though Batman punched him really hard in the face. But yeah, that's true. Both the Riddler ones, he's like been like, you go fight. It's the kind of cowardly fun nature that I like. That it kind of feels like, kind of spirited into Jim Carrey in the Batman Forever. It feels like it pulls that from it, where he just like punch. He's like, like he's just not a fighter.
I was gonna say there's also a scene where he's rubbing his hands like this, which Jim Carrey also did when he's doing his Frank Gorshin impression of Batman. Batman, you say, coming for me. That was taken from this.
Yeah. Jim Carrey's Riddler is definitely very Frank Gorshin inspired.
Brilliant performance.
Yes, I'm 90s. That Burton Schumacher stuff. I go to bat for. I love them. Batman and Robin, even warts and all, it as a part of the narrative fits that storyline going through where with the Bruce Wayne story arc feels complete with those four. But the movie is what it is. I'm not going to sit and die on a hill for it because it's to this day, if that's the worst movie you've ever seen, I'm sorry, because you just haven't seen enough movies, I guess. But
I will say I will go to bat for every single Riddler we've ever had. Just because they're all so different, and the actors behind them really put in an extra oomph to their performance, whether it be John Glover in the animated series, or Jim Carrey, or Paul Dano, or even the even smaller projects that featured the Riddler, where he's darker or more sinister. There's always an aspect of the character that is so fascinating to me.
No, go ahead, finish.
Because there's an aspect of the character that lends itself to like coming out over the top, but the way that it's presented is like my mental, like, I don't know. It's like a mental disability. Like, you have to put forth the riddle. You have to put forth the clue before you do something. There was actually a thread online where people were saying that David Fincher's Seven was initially a Riddler Batman like inspired movie. And I can see that because like he puts forward ththese clues and then it's like, come get me.
Right. Yeah. I want to be given credit for what I've done.
Captured. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny with the darkness of the Riddler. There was when I read the comics back in the day, there was a 3-part story run where the Riddler called Dark Knight, Dark City, and it was based on like all this horror stuff, and they're like he got involved, like Riddler got involved with a cult, really creepy, supernatural, wild freaking story, but it is one that stuck with me. Like I read a ton of Batman comics when I was a kid, but that one sticks with me. The covers were really creepy, all sorts of stuff, but they took a real big supernatural journey with the Riddler, and I like the weird stuff. That's why I tell people, like, Batman's my favorite superhero. I love Batman, but I always feel like I have gotten my complete satisfactory fill of Batman through my lifetime, where like anything extra is like just Like I
The
love
whipped cream,
I
the
love the
cherry on
60s
top.
Batman.
Yeah.
Tim Burton Batman's one of my favorite movies. Maybe I'm here today because of Tim Burton's Batman, because that movie was my Star Wars when I was a kid.
Same.
The Nolan Batman trilogy, Batman the Animated, like so much good Batman that like I want them to do crazy stuff with it. Like I want like I get those from some of the DC animated movies that come out where they do like Gotham by Gaslight or
Mhm.
Batman Ninja, but I'm like live action, let's get like wild with Batman, but they keep going like we can go darker. It's like no, okay, like every time you give me a new Batman, it's like this is darker, more grounded, grittier, and like every one of them says that every time. Like the Tim Burton's Batman, oh, we're more darker, but this isn't 60s Batman. You go back to it, it's still silly because Batman needs humor in it and it works well. The Nolan movies have humor in them, but a lot of people like to believe they're like humorless things. No, they're not. And then when we get to the Matt Reeves one, like just more darker, more grounded, and you could argue that the Zack Snyder ones are almost a parody of grimdark stuff, but that's
I will say
was-
to that point, and this is a huge tangent from the 60s conversation
Yeah.
we're having, but the Matt Reeves, the Batman,
Mhm.
is the first time that I've actually recognized the character of Batman from the comics.
gotcha.
And I'm like, oh, that's the guy I read. Whereas Chris Nolan's Batman is more Bond. He's more Howard Hughes. He's more all these other things that Nolan wanted to do that he wasn't allowed to do, and he
I
just
can see that,
incorporated
yeah.
that into his Batman movies. And it's
That's
like,
a great take on the
well,
Reeves one.
that's
yeah.
not Batman.
Yeah.
And then Burton's is a gothic take on this kid who has mental issues and he just beats up people for fun.
Well, Burton was
to
like,
work through them.
what if a guy actually did this? That's the Burton
exactly,
one. Like,
yeah.
what if
What
like
if the guy actually did this? But let's not read the comics about the guy actually doing it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So that's why I will always, lean toward the Matt Reeves, in like the writing of the character
Mhm.
as my favorite so far. And I'm really excited for what he does next with that character. But I agree with you. We've had an abundance of Batman, and
Yeah,
we're
good
so
Batman stuff.
spoiled.
Yeah, so spoiled.
The,
Yeah.
the next step is we've had the blueprint. Now let's have somebody in the world just be Batman, and let's have a Batman of our own. So I need a millionaire or a billionaire to step
Yeah.
up and actually start beating up the other millionaires and billionaires.
Hey, there we go. Yes. We need the Batman of the billionaires to take them
Yeah.
down. Well, Lego Batman. We even have Lego Batman,
And
which is
Lego
awesome.
Batman.
Yeah, we even
Yeah.
have Lego Batman. Like it's so much Batman. So much Batman. Like I'm almost
Rest in
like
peace, Kevin Conroy.
right.
like
Yes.
the
Yeah.
the true Batman.
And he got to play Bruce Wayne on screen on Legends of Tomorrow too. That
Yeah.
was great. But they, if anything, like with Batman, like the turn to do is like more silly, bright, and colorful again. But Matt Reeves, he made a hell of a movie too. So
Well, Brave and the Bold did that, and
Yep.
James Gunn has talked about his version of Batman is going to be more of that, mentor figure for Robin, and it's probably going to be brighter. They have the writer from Birds of Prey
Right.
working on that, so
And
it's going to be great. And also, fun fact: Birds of Prey included Tweety Bird, and Tweety Bird is usually referenced with Harley Quinn. So the fact that was a connection is wonderful for me.
I did love Birds of Prey. Big fan of that one. So
Same.
Batman, good Batman adjacent stuff. So awesome. All right. Well, I think that'll do us for this one. Jonathan, until next time you appear here, because I hope to have you back for another one of these.
Thank you.
Where can people keep up with This Mean Podcast?
You can follow me over at This Means Podcast on Instagram. You can follow the show. Of course, you realize This Means Podcast is the full title. And we'll be revamping the show coming out this month with some really great guests. I've been talking to some background artists that I haven't had on the show yet. And also potential projects that are in the works or that were on pause. That have writers and directors attached. I might bring them into. We will see. But yeah, the next episode is scheduled for the 11th of February. Although I might when does this episode go up?
This, if you're listening to it on the day it drops, it is Monday, February 16th.
Okay, so there are 2 episodes that are already out of this Muse podcast. Go check them out and check out the YouTube because I need more followers so I can do live streams over there. That's what I really want to do with a guest. So spread the word. And if you like Looney Tunes, if you love animation, this is the platform for it. And I take criticism and feedback really well. So dish it all out and let me know how I can improve the show. But yeah, we've been going for 7 years as of, this September will be 7 years. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun and I can't wait to keep it going, keep the passion alive. And now that I have a daughter, I'm introducing her to the classic shorts and
Always exciting, yeah.
always exciting. She actually really loved The Day the Earth Blew Up, which she got to see in theaters.
Oh, cool.
And I got to see it being made. I got to see like a print where it was half sketches, half fully animated and colored. And then I got to go to the scoring session with Joshua
wow.
Mosier. So I got to see the live orchestra scoring the movie, which was just phenomenal and one of the best days of my life. I highly recommend all of this. Just Looney love, just trying to push out all the Looney love out there.
All right, excellent. All right, and I'm on the socials at Brandon4KUHD. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can view this episode, or you can watch my 4K or Blu-ray reviews and other additional material I put out there. That goes straight to there. And the documentary Doctor Who, the USA tour from Real Time Pictures, which I contributed some second unit stuff to, is now playing. And you can go to Time Travel TV and order the DVD or purchase digitally or rent digitally. And then Fantastic, a celebration of fans discovering Doctor Who, available where anywhere books are found from Zeppo Publishing. You can read the best chapter in there. It's page 174, which I contributed to. So you can find more at ZeppoPublishing.com. All right. Awesome. Next time, we will be Batman will be facing off against the Mad Hatter. But until then, I'll see you in same Brandon podcast, same Brandon day it drops. I don't know. I haven't come up with anything clever to pull out, but my normal show I end out with is stay film positive.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.